Hello everybody, hi, my name is Marina, welcome to my channel. I'm level 2 seller and top rated buyer on Fiverr, and in this video I'm reviewing a video that was recommended to me by YouTube algorithm. It says the title of the video is Crush 2021 with Fiverr, 11 tips to your first $2,000. So I watched the video already and I want to give you my comments on the video.
I wanted to discuss 11 tips that I've learned over the last year on Fiverr that have really helped me go from a nobody on Fiverr to a level 2 seller and making a great monthly income on it every month, and it's been really consistent for the last 6 months.
Okay, so the link for this video is in description, and I'm going to skip forward to his first tip. If I can track it down here, there should be, so that's tip 2, so somewhere here should be tip 1. Maybe this is a point where I suggest to use chapters. Let's play.
It's been really fun to kind of grow on Fiverr. I'm going to go over these 11 tips that I've learned, because in the beginning I had no orders, and then I learned these little tips here and there that have kind of grown my business. Stick around for the last tip. Tip number 11 is absolutely the most important tip of all of them. So let's just jump right into it. All right, so the first tip is going to be gig thumbnails matter. And so the reason I say that is...
Okay, so I completely agree with this tip. Gig thumbnails do matter. You need to make them your own custom. You need to make them unique. You need to make them in appropriate ratio. Now, when it comes to ratio of the image, what I suggest is that make one, so just as a trial, make 1 gig but without publishing it, and make an image and put it in your gig portfolio, and then see how it looks like. And if you see that it's getting distorted in the corners or somewhere, then make another one until you find the perfect one. Keep in mind that no matter what ratio you use for your gig image, it will be distorted one way or another. So if you make your gig image perfect for desktop viewer, the person watching your gig on mobile phone or tablet is going to see a distorted image. This is just how Fiverr site works, so there is no perfect gig thumbnail settings when it comes to ratio. But when it comes to image, it is important that you have consistency between your thumbnails, that they are clean, that they are grammatically correct, that you are using contrasting colors. I also have a video in mind for how to prepare gig thumbnails, because I also offer YouTube thumbnails and YouTube branding of the thumbnails. So this first tip is correct. You should make sure that your gig thumbnails are unique and they are personalized to you, and that they stand out. So also a good thing for you would be to check your category where you want to post your services and see what other sellers are doing. So don't copy them directly, but see what they're doing, see what they're doing with their thumbnails, and try to implement what they're doing in your own unique thumbnail. So skip to...
They'll make it for you and you'll be good to go. Tip number 2 is sell yourself.
So tip number 2 is sell yourself. This is also one of the tips that I agree with. You need to make sure that you add your photo somewhere, either in your gig thumbnail or in your profile, and it has to be your photo, or you can use your logo as well if you are in the graphic design category. Now, also it is important to remember, if you still do not have your account on Fiverr, if you still didn't make it, you cannot change your name. You can change everything on Fiverr except your name. And if you want to change your name, for example, you made your own profile, you made your gigs, and after 3, 4, 6 months you don't get any orders, and you say, okay, I'm going to start over. If you do that, if you delete your current account, and you have to get permission from customer service, but if you get your account, current account deleted, you cannot use same images for your new account, not even your profile image. So we have people on Fiverr forum telling that they've been banned from the site because they removed their profile, they deactivated and deleted their profile because they wanted to make a new one with a different name, and they thought they can do it easily just by changing, deleting the account and making a new one, putting all the same data back. But the moment Fiverr system recognizes that picture is already been used within his database, he's thinking, aha, this person is copying, stealing someone's work, and they just give you auto ban. So it's a system giving you the ban. It's not like somebody actually checks all the images being posted every day. So system is checking the images, and if he notices that the image has already been somewhere in his database, he just bans that user. Also, this tip covers sell yourself as a part of description, your profile description and your gig description. Make sure that your profile is accurate, that you do not put any skills or certificates on university listings that are not possible. For example, we have people saying that they finished university in 2025, so because it's 2020 and 2021, so that doesn't work. And make sure that you check your grammar for your gig description. It is also very important when person is reading that you have the grammar correct. Okay, so this was his tip 2. Let's see, can I find tip 3? Slowly. Something happens here. We have a flash. Tip 3. If I reduce the speed to, let's do it like this.
End goal and the problem that that customer has, and that's why they're coming to you, and then explain how you can help them file. You're not going to be getting orders. And so when I say selling yourself, I mean, so when people sign up for...
Okay, I found it. Use all gigs. So in this tip, he mentions that you can, as a new seller, have 5 gigs. So this was in old times, long time ago. Today in 2021 and in past 3 or 5 years, you can, as a new seller, put on 7 gigs. Now, gig is a trademark word coming from Fiverr. Gigs means your services. When it comes to services, according to new terms of service from November 2020, you need to make sure that all your services are unique and specific. So for example, you cannot make gigs that are, I will do your beautiful Photoshop, I will do your amazing Photoshop, I will do your extraordinary Photoshop. If you do this, your account will be banned, your all gigs will be removed. What you can do is publish gigs that are specific in a way. I will do your minimalistic logo, I will do your abstract logo, I will create for you black and white logo, watercolor logo. So you need to be specific in your gig title. When you are making your gig, you need to make sure that the title that you make is your URL of your gig, and you cannot change this. You can change the name of your gig later on, but you cannot change the link that is created the moment you create your gig. So be careful about that. Make sure that you have a good SEO of the title, and then you can change the title later once you created the link for your new gig. As a new seller, you can create 7 gigs. You can offer 7 services. When you reach level 1, and level 1 you reach automatically by getting 100 orders and $400, something like that. I need to check, but you have the list of level 1 sellers. So it is automatically given to you every 15th of the month. So if you by 15th of the month reach a certain number of orders and certain number of amount earned, you will be level 1. In order to keep that status, you need to keep all your statistics in green. So that means you need to respond in time, you need to deliver in time, you cannot have warnings, and you cannot have cancelled orders. And this is pure statistics that is looked in past 60 days. So for example, if you had 2 orders and you had 1 cancellation, you cannot, you will be demoted, and you cannot send bias request until 16 days passes from that cancelled order. Once that 60 days passes, you are back to either 0, or if you had more orders, you will slowly go into the green section of the statistics. So basically, everything that has happened to you on your service in the past 60 days influences your account. As a level 2, you can have 10 gigs. As a level 1, you can have 10 gigs, and as a level 2, you can have 20 gigs. And then as a top-rated seller, you can have 30 with multiples, extras, and similar. Okay, so that was tip 3. So he mentioned here that you can have 5. The actual number is 7. So as a new seller, you can have 7. Now, regarding using all the 7, you have mix and match, suggestions in this section. If you want to focus on one service and do it and be the best at it, then it is recommended that you have just 1 gig. But it depends on the category. If you are, and I hope you're not, but if you want to go in the logo category that is really oversaturated, me, for example, I've been a Fiverr seller for 8 months. I haven't sold directly from my logo gig, not one single logo. All my logo orders came from client ordering something else, and then he asked me, Marina, do you do logos? And I say yes, and then that is how I get my logo orders. But from organic search, 0. So it's practically, if I don't have my other gigs, I would never sell any logo because there is just too many people out there. Yesterday I checked 600,000. So 600,000 services you have in the logo category and graphic design category. So it's, and over 1,000 sellers signed up every day just in the logo category. And yesterday we had 30 or 40,000 sellers that joined the site 1 year ago. So 40,000 sellers with 0 sales. So in past year, 365 days, 40,000 logo sellers didn't make any sales. So not even $5. So that's just something for you to think about regarding what to do on Fiverr. But I'm also going to make another video with suggestions how select proper category if you want to work on Fiverr depending on your skills. So if you are a logo designer, that also means that you know how to use vector programs and bitmap, raster programs. So my suggestion is not to focus on logo design. Even if you are logo designer, Fiverr market for logo design is just oversaturated, and it is pointless at this time to join that category. You can put logo gig if you want. You can keep one. That's what I'm doing. I just have 1 gig out of my 20 that is logo design, and I just keep it there because that is one of my first gigs. I just keep it there, but I know that probably I will never get the direct sale from that gig. Okay, let's see if I can find his tip number 4.
Color, that pattern that's popular these days. Essentially, you want to take what it is. All right, be okay.
Now, be okay with $5 gigs. Once again, my opinion on this is no. But this depends on why you're joining Fiverr, how desperate you are, and we have people that have skills and they put their first gig $100 and they get sales. Now people are going to say, oh, that's luck. It has nothing to do with luck. Let me show you. Let's just go out of, I'm going to show you if I can remember her name. I don't remember her name, but I remember Japanese letters or email or something like that. Japanese mail. Here it is. Look at her. This is a pure example how you should approach to Fiverr if you are a new seller and you want to start freelancing on Fiverr. So I'm not going to Hikari Shinyo. I mispronounced her name, sorry. But look, September 2020, and she already has 63 and beyond of that sales, 5-star rating. If you check her gig profile and everything, but the most important thing is her videos. Her videos are outstanding.
Hello everyone, I'm Hikari, and in this gig, I will lend you the voice of a female Japanese speaker.
Okay, so the production of the video, her videos, the description, her profile image, everything is on level beyond level, and she was new seller, and she is speed rocking like a supersonic speed to the level 2, and I'm completely convinced that she's going to be top rated seller in the next year for sure, and probably they're going to promote her to pro seller because she is truly outstanding. Everything that she does is amazing. You can see also from her reviews that she really does the great job, and she is also on Fiverr forum, and she explained her story how she prepared for Fiverr. So she didn't just open the Fiverr account and start posting gigs randomly. She prepared, she recorded videos, she made thumbnails, she made description, so she made a detailed plan how to start her freelancing job. So this is a clear example, and as you can see, she doesn't have any gigs. So this is her pricing from the day one. She doesn't have anything starting at $5. So if we go back to the video, here is, it says be okay with $5 gigs. This is only valid if you are, how to say this? I'm not going to say that you are lying, but if you have Photoshop installed on your computer, you are not a photographer. If you have Adobe Illustrator on your computer installed, you are not graphic designer. And if you know how to draw a straight line in Adobe Illustrator, you are not a logo designer. That is not how things work. So if you have these programs by coincidence and you lost your job, sorry for that, same thing happened to me, and now you are trying desperately, how can I make money? I'm home, I'm locked down, I'm in quarantine, what do I do? Well, if you never actually did any of these tasks, if you don't know how to remove background from the image, if you are just doing it by tutorial on YouTube and you are just hoping somebody will hire you, then yes, then be okay with $5 gig, because you are basically selling somebody a chance to give you a chance. That is what you're offering. You're not offering a service. You are just giving somebody a chance to give you a chance by hiring you. So be okay with $5 gigs if you do not have skills, or if you are just learning or just recently obtained these gigs. So by offering $5 gigs, you will get more experience, and then by getting more experience, you can up your prices. But if you're already fluent, let's say it like that, if you're already fluent with vector design, with Photoshop, with Inkscape, with drawing, with social media marketing, or whatever the service you want to offer, if you're already good at that, there's no point of you to offering $5 gigs. There is no need for you to degrade yourself. You put $50, because if you put $5 just to make stars or whatever, or reviews, at the beginning, later on, those same clients are going to say, why are you now 20? Why I came back because your prices were okay for me, let's go back to 5. And it just creates a confusion, unnecessarily confusion. So start with a realistic price. If nobody buys it, trust me, it is better, it is really better. I know it sounds strange, but it is really better to have one order of 50 that is truly going to be valid for you than 10 orders of 5. 10 orders of 5 means that you're going to work daily for $5. Trust me. My first month, I worked so my gig started with $10, and I made $12 per day. I worked entire day for $12. That was my beginning. That was my first month on Fiverr. And It's not because I downgraded my price. It is because I offered something basic and everybody purchased basic, so I did it. But the conversation between, because right now I have much better system than I have in April 2020. I now have brief, now I have everything. When I started in April 2020, I didn't use my brief because I didn't know how Fiverr exactly works. Will they accept my brief to be part of my portfolio? But I talked with them in December when I changed my entire profile, and they said, yes, it's okay to have your design brief. So my design brief from the company I was working for 14 years, I managed to get that. And for my own company right now, I managed to include that brief in my gig portfolio. So that is changing a lot of things that in April 2020 I lost time. So by the time I managed to convince my client to tell me what color he wants, what design he wants, does he have a typography he wants, and similar things, the $12 gig was 12 hours work. So basically you make $1 per hour. So, and then if you go to $5 per day, if you turn that into hours, that's just ridiculous. So let's skip to the next tip if I can find it. Let's just play.
Yes, I'm going to do these orders for $5. I'm not going to. Next thing you know, within a month or two, you're getting $20 orders, $50 orders, $100 orders, and beyond. I know people that have done four-figure orders. A client base, you're building a reputation, and you're building basically your social worth.
Okay.
On this platform.
This depends on your category. For example, I'm selling overlays, and once a person buys an overlay from me, they never come back because they have what they needed. So I do not have returning clients in so many categories. But what I do have is I have a package deal where a client can buy my package. So instead of buying $5 here, $5 here, $5 here, I offer full package. For example, for YouTube, I have captions, I have subtitles, I have video editing, I have enhancement, I have audio correction, I have banner, thumbnail, what else, and logo design, all in one package. And my clients are usually buying those packages, and once I get the package in the order, that is where my money actually comes from, and that is how I managed to reach level 2 very fast. But what he's saying here in this part is that a lot of 5 can turn into 20. This completely depends on the category. If you are in a category that is not of a kind that the client will come back, you're only going to have one client once for $5. Is that really worth it? So let's see what is his
Never
next.
see an order unless you get randomly lucky. So tip number 4, be okay with $5 orders. All right, tip number 5, respond to everybody.
Tip number 5, respond to all. Yes. Respond to everybody, but if you see that there are spam, respond them with just hello or some message that you have in your script, but then ban them. If you see that you are getting spam messages constantly, just ban them, because if you get a spam message and you don't respond to it before you ban him, you can get your statistics of your response ratio down, and that can cause you to lose level or similar. So be careful about that. Also, in this section he talks about how to respond to everybody, even if they offer unridiculous prices or ridiculous prices. So in that case, make sure that you respond to all kindly, and I completely approve this tip number 5. Let's see, what is the tip number 6?
Responsive, on time, online every day. Those are the people. Thanks, and move on. Tip number 6, deliver on time.
Now, regarding this, deliver on time, there is a recommendation that we suggest to everybody who comes on Fiverr forum, that you do not make 24-hour deliveries for anything. Literally for anything, because number 1, you can have people ordering without contacting you. So by the time you reach them, it's already 12 hours. So you have only 12 hours to deliver, to make whatever they want you to make, and then deliver. So we suggest do not make anything 24 hours unless you have a team of people working, and you can have one person monitoring the account for 6 hours and another person for 6 hours. So basically you have people covering your account. It's not legal to have a couple of people working on the same profile, but we know that everybody knows that some people are doing this as well, and then splitting the profit. Now, in order to deliver on time, the best thing you can do is write down how long it takes you to make something, and then double that time and put that as your delivery time. So for example, I can deliver a simple template overlay that I have. So it's created by me, but I have my own templates that I created. I can deliver that in 10 minutes. So if somebody right now orders and responds to my designer brief, I want them blue with the gradient, I want them in 2K ratio standard, I want them to have 2 windows 60:9. So if he responds to my brief with all these details, I can make him an overlay in 15 minutes. But still, my shortest delivery is 3 days. Now the reason why I put 3 days is because I have people ordering without giving me requirements, without saying anything. And I have people ordering at 10 o'clock in the evening, even though it's clearly in my mandatory requirements stated that I work only exclusively at Europe daytime. So Europe daytime, that is when I work. And they send their message, they send their order at 10 p.m. Now I know not everybody knows how time zone works and what is my time, what is your time, but that is the reason why I have image of the world map with time zones in my portfolio. So you can check, okay, I'm here, Marina is here, my time is 6, Marina time is night. I'm not going to send her message. Or you can send me a message 24 hours, 24/7, but just please do not expect I'm going to respond in the middle of the night, because in the middle of the night I'm sleeping. Yes. Like most of the people. Let's see.
And those 5-star reviews add up, and when they add up, your customers will increase, your client will. It's because you complete an order for back in Fiverr. The reason.
Let's go back a little. This is very important. Tip number 8 he's talking about is understand internal feedback. This is correct. This is something that you need to be careful about. Fiverr has 2 kinds of reviews. First review is automatic, that shows after he accepts your delivery, and second one is internal feedback, anonymous, that they can leave 1 or 2 or 3 days after the order is finished, and the buyer gets an email from Fiverr to respond anonymously how he feels about the order and the delivery. Now also, before you reach this step, internal feedback, you also need to know that the moment the buyer accepts the order, he gets a question: how worthy is this delivery to you? So you need to make sure that you have the correct wordings in your response when you send delivery, that the buyer feels that he got more for his money than he would in any other circumstances. Depending on internal feedback, you can rise very quickly. We have reports from sellers that, not from the sellers, we have report from buyer who left a 5-star rating and great internal feedback. So she wrote like 10 pages email to Fiverr about this seller, and this seller was on page 20-30 tomorrow. So day after that positive internal anonymous feedback, he was on page 1. So he was moved, his gig moved to page 1, not because of the 5-star. He received 5-star review 10 days ago, 10 days prior to his shift to the first page. So the moment she left internal anonymous feedback, tomorrow he was on the page 1. So internal feedbacks are very important, and also it is important if you are a buyer that you make a detailed feedback. So even if you didn't like or did like the seller, make sure that you leave some constructive feedback in the review. So awesome, everything was great. It's not a constructive feedback for a potential next future buyer. If you want to buy a phone and everybody who bought the phone before you just leave their review, awesome, 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 nice, 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 very cool, very cool. Does that tell you anything about the phone? Does that tell you something about, okay, I'm going to buy this phone because everybody's saying it's awesome? Would you rather prefer somebody tells, okay, the sound is great, the camera is great, everything's working, there are no bugs, the battery lasts long? So that's a constructive feedback, that's a constructive review. So if you are a buyer, make sure that you leave a proper constructive feedback to seller. And also, if you are a seller, make sure that you also leave honest and detailed review for that buyer, so any other future sellers can check on that before they start offering their services to that seller.
Jump into the buyer request section. It's on the top of the right at your navigation top menu. Keep yourself pushed up in the rankings. All right, tip number 9, buyer requests.
Tip number 9. Tip number 9 is, okay, I already made a video. I'm going to link it somewhere here. I already made a video about this. If you are a new seller and you have no other choices, if you're not getting any orders for 2 months, yes, go to buyer's request. Go daily, send messages, do whatever you want or can. But you will notice that when you reach level 1 status and level 2 status, buyer request is just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous to the point that you just don't go there at all. I haven't been on buyer's request in last 6 months. The moment I reached level 1, I never go there because it's pointless. The prices are ridiculous, and by the time you write a clear and constructive offer, the buyer already gets 200 offers, and it's he's not going to reach yours and read yours. Now, if you have every now and then there is a couple of interesting buyer requests, but literally every now and then, meaning once in a week, you have proper buyer's request. And if you see that it doesn't have a lot of offers, so everything under 10 is still okay, you can send your offer. But for me, I have sent, I don't know, maybe 600 buyer requests total, and I made only 2 or 3 sales from it, because the competition is just too much. And you have a lot of new sellers offering, basically they're going to make a website for $5, a mobile app for $5. You can't compete with that. And for buyer request, the tip, if you are a new seller, if you have no other choices, yes. But if just in any other case, no. Just point simple no. Let's see, I'm going to reach number 10, tip number 10.
So go into buyer, if you're not getting work, go into buyer requests every day, answer everybody's response. And what happens is, even if they don't select you for this, they may negotiate with you, or they may use you in the future. They may just put you on the back burner as, oh, I don't need him today, but he might be good down the road for the next project. So,
okay, so once again, this depends on the category. The chances the buyer is actually going to reach your offer and read your offer, if you are like 30, 40, 50 to send the offer, no. He's not going to see your offer. People who are selling on Fiverr, and when they use buyer request, for example, I did a buyer's request last week, 2 weeks ago. I received 100 offers. I read them all because I know how Fiverr works. I read them all, but I know that some other buyer who's just there for one-time deal, 2-time orders, he's not going to read 100 offers. There's just no way. And of course, if your your seller's offers is to his buyer request is non-constructive, and if your gig portfolio image looks off comparing to others, he's not going to memorize you and keep you stored or remember you at all. So,
on Fiverr, and just shoot it off once a month. It's so easy, and many times they will come back to you and go, oh, hey, thanks for reaching out. One orders from me a 30-second voiceover to you and go, oh, hey, thanks for reaching out. We actually do have something coming. Definitely consider me in the future for any of your projects. Automatically returning customers, which many of them keeps in contact with and say, yeah, there's 1,000 people doing graphic design on Fiverr, but Mike did a job for me that was pretty good. So if Mike keeps in contact with me down
Okay. This is the real reason why I'm recording this video. This is the real reason why I want to react on this video. What he's saying right now is that once you are finished with the client, in the future you can contact him without him contacting you and ask him, do you have a job for me, this or something like that, wrapped in the nice gift sentence. And this is a big no. Fiverr new TOS from November strictly forbids contacting buyers or sending them any kind of messages after the order has finished. If the client accepted delivery, if he said everything's okay, and if he's not contacting you back, if he's not asking you back anything, you are not allowed to contact him. If you do this and you don't get a warning, consider yourself lucky, because we have in last 2 months after November 2020, after the new TOS, we have on forum, we've been flooded with sellers saying, oh, I got a warning, I got a ban, my account is restricted, my account has been deleted, because they contacted clients without clients contacting them first. You are not allowed to send any kind of messages to your previous buyers. This is not allowed by Fiverr TOS. If you do this, you're risking being banned from the site. And it all depends on the person. How your buyer is feeling that day. If he receives a message from you and he's a nice person, he's just going to say, oh, listen, Mike, I don't have anything for you now. Thank you very much. But if he's not in a good mood and he sees your message and he didn't contact you and he has no idea why you contact him, because he paid you, he's finished with you, he can click that little tiny flag next to your name, and the moment, because you are a seller, the moment that flag is hit, it's different for buyers. Buyers can delete and make a new account easily, but sellers, once you get one flag, you get a warning. Once you get 2 warnings, your account is restricted, and if you get one more warning in next 60 days, you're finished. Your Fiverr career is over. So please do not contact your previous clients unless they contact you first. What you can do is, when you make a delivery, you make a note. If you need my assistance regarding services, and this is what I offer, please keep me in your mind or something like that, but never contact clients without them contacting you first. This is like, especially after the new TOS, this is a very huge problem, so don't do this.
On the road, I may have other work for him. Now, if I never from an OG Fiverr seller who's a top-rated seller and he kills it every month with 5-figure months every single month on Fiverr. Tip number 11, over-deliver your order. I don't care if you're going cash negative on this as far as your time every single month on Fiverr. Tip number 11.
Tip number 11, over-deliver. This depends on the service you are offering. Once again, it depends on the category. If your client bought something that cannot be, spread more widely from the offer, then you cannot over-deliver. But if, for example, you are offering overlays, and let's say I have a package of 50 overlays, I can put 20 more because I have my own templates. I can create them easily. You can, but it depends on the category when it comes to over-deliver. If it's a voiceover, for example, there is nothing for you to over-deliver. The client purchased a voiceover. It's a 30-second recording. You're not going to, okay, here's a 30-second of recording me talking like this, and this is a 30-second of me recording like this. Well, I mean, the client bought. And also, and this is very important when it comes to over-delivering, you need to make sure that you feel the client, feel the mood. I had once I had this situation where the client, I was still new on Fiverr, I was still trying to learn how things are going, and I had a client who bought 10 overlays from me and I delivered 30, and he almost left me negative review because it was too much for him. He doesn't know how to use computer, he doesn't know how to use OBS, and receiving 30 files for him was just too much. He didn't know which goes where. He said, Marina, can you please send me delivery again with just 10 overlays I ordered? So be careful when you are thinking about over delivering in order to get more bonuses from the buyer. So over delivering, it's not always the best thing. And I was really worried at that time because that was almost my first negative review. But fortunately, the client didn't left negative review. He contacted me. He refused my delivery, and he contacted me and he asked for revision. And revision was to send him 10 overlays, not 20 extra overlays I gave him as a bonus, as free. So that is just my experience. So you need to be careful. Over deliver, yes, depending on a client and depending on the service and category you are offering your service. And that's it. That is my review of this video. And if you have more questions, you can ask them in the comments below. I'm going to now say goodbye and thank you for listening, and see you next day. Bye.